Welcome back for another episode of the podcast, Porn Brain Rewire. I am your hostess with the mostest, Dr. Trish Leigh, and I am so grateful to not only be here, but to be alive and well enough to be able to be here. So I'm on my own recovery journey from toxic mold poisoning, and it has been a challenging one, but that's why I've kind of been hit or miss with new episodes of the podcast, but I am dedicated, know that, so I am trying. Okay, so without further ado, what I wanted to talk about in this podcast is that we are quickly approaching November. And if you have been along for the ride for the last year or two with me, you know that many people celebrate or attempt the challenge of No Porn November, which is also called No PMO November or nofap November. So I hope that you will join the challenge. I have a program that I'm offering for $33 that you can join. And it's a really cool program that I am so excited to offer. It's a closed program so that we know who's in it and we're able to offer support along the way. And then going along with that, there will be free shorts on YouTube. So the way that it's offered is every other day, there is a new video with a new lesson. And in the paid program, there's an exercise that you engage in with every single lesson. So you learn something and then you go do it. That's how real change happens. So in today's episode, I want to talk about basically the 14 primary lessons that are in the program. And actually there's 15. As I'm looking at them, I kept adding things and trying not to let it get away from me. And basically it's every other day. So it's 15 lessons and one bonus lesson on how to use your Muse brain sensing headband. So today I just want to present a quick synopsis of what you have to look forward to in November so that I can support you on your journey of leaving pornography behind. Now, like any good journey, it's not what you're leaving behind that's important, it's what you're moving toward. And as I briefly tell you what each of the lessons in this program are and what they encompass, you'll quickly see we very rarely and just for a glimpse talk about leaving porn behind. The rest of it is figuring out who you really are, the real you on the inside, and how you can become that version. Because when you live an authentic life, there's no need to escape from it. And that's truly what a porn habit is. It's just escapism. It's escapism from stress, from overwhelm, from boredom, from moods, from feelings. And you've heard me say this before, it's not your fault because this habit started when you were young and it's highly addictive, but it is your responsibility at this point. And you are never too old, it is never too late to kick this habit to the curb and become the best version of yourself. I've gotten an email from someone who's 58 years old and he's basically like, F it, because it might just be too late. I've been doing this for 3 decades. Well, friend, if you're listening, 58 is young. It's not the 3 decades that you've lost or you seemingly have lost to this behavior. What it is the 3 decades that you can look forward to in the future. So anchor into that. And 58 is not old at all. There's a lifetime ahead of you, and it is absolutely worth taking the journey. I want you to remember that. But like any good journey, there's hills, there's roadblocks, there's stumbles that you'll make, and I'm here to help you and to guide you and to move you along that journey. All right, so No Porn November coming up. Please join the program if you're inspired. The information is below. The link to join is below this podcast, and you can also find it on my YouTube channel, Dr. Trish Leigh, Porn Brain Rewire. Okay, so what's some of the first things that we're going to look at? One of the first lessons is the magic pill to quit porn. And I cannot tell you what that magic pill is here, obviously, because that is one of the special aspects of the program. So when you get into the program, I tell you what that magic pill is to get you going in the right direction. Then what we talk about is putting your own needs first and learning how to do that in a compassionate, loving way. That's lesson 2. That's very difficult. I've been learning to do that in my own journey. So I was thinking about this when I got into porn addiction recovery, helping my friend. It was really an emotional battle for me. It's always cognitive because I'm a thinker, but it also was primarily emotional. It was difficult for me to emotionally figure out what was going on with all this stuff. And I'm sure you're in a place where if you have a porn habit or you know someone who is addicted to pornography, it's trippy because it's emotional in nature and physically it's difficult to put your thumb on. And then with the toxic mold poisoning that I have, it was showing up physically for me, not necessarily cognitively or mentally. So it was really a physical journey, and I'm still on a really physical journey of healing my body, but it's never just emotional and it's never just physical. And I was thinking about this as I was putting my Jimmy rigged setup together in my new townhouse that I'm in for a couple more months when my house gets repaired. I was thinking, porn recovery started as a really emotional journey, but then it encompasses, body, mind, and the true self. And this mold thing really started as a physical journey, but it's really begun to encompass emotional and mental and spiritual aspect for me also, because all transformational journeys encompass all of them. And that's a really important factor to recognize. So if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction, that's a physical symptom, and you might not feel the cognitive or the emotional symptoms. Cognitive symptoms are ADHD like symptoms, not being able to focus, low motivation, your get up and go, got up and went. The emotional components that go with a porn addiction might be increased anxiety, increased depression, mood swings, irritability, anger, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But there's always all 3 of them wrapped up in any transformational journey. So I address all 3 of them. My approach is a neuro in neon, big, bold print. Neuro, we look at your brain performance pattern and we improve it. Not only do we see it, we improve it and then we check it again, we see it again. Bio, which is your body and your biology, and psycho, which is your psychology, your mental health, and how it impacts your mental health and your thinking, the cognitive aspect, but also social, how your porn habit impacts your relationships, how your relationships impact your porn habit. It encompasses all of them. And you're going to find all of them in this No Porn November program. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that because I was thinking about it. And in my journey of putting my own needs first as I have been sick and I've been trying to heal, wow, have I realized how often I put everybody else's needs first and my needs last. And a classic example, and of course, my husband would kill me if he heard me say this, but as I've told you, I don't think he listens to or watches any of my stuff, which is fine. We went to Key West with our besties to it was a healing weekend. Don't get me wrong, it involved some partying, but it was really fun and relaxing with our best friends. And we get on the plane and the hubs opens his AirPod case. No AirPods. That man's got no AirPods. And, he'll watch an entire movie the whole time we're traveling. I put my AirPods in. I put in noise canceling mode so I can cancel out all the other human beings. You've met me, right? Cancel out those human beings. And usually I listen to music. I'll listen to jazz just to chill my brain out and meditate and relax while I'm traveling. So the way I saw it was I don't really need the AirPods, but I do like them and enjoy them and I want them. But the hubs opens his AirPod case, no AirPods. And I literally have my hand and it is going over to him to hand the AirPods. And I'm like trying to pull it back. I can feel the internal struggle, which I would have not felt before. I would have just given him my AirPods and done my thing. And this time I'm like, oh my gosh, I should not be giving him my AirPods. I need to respond to my own needs first. And I ended up giving him the AirPods for both flights. I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. I gave him the AirPods for both flights. He watched his movie, and I had the pleasure of listening to a crying baby for a little while on the way back. Yep, my needs out the window. So I am a work in progress, but putting your needs first is important. It's come to the top during my own healing journey. So we're going to address that. Moving on to lesson 3. I have a really important strategy for you. I call it a reverse move. And again, I can't talk about it in length here, we'd run out of time, but the way out of this is to really feel your feelings, to be able to acknowledge them, and then to be able to act on them. And if you're caught up in a porn habit, it's by design to not feel your feelings. It numbs you out, it keeps those feelings at bay. So clearly, the solution is where the problem is, that if you're not feeling your feelings, how do you act on them? How do you respond to other people's feelings using your own? You can't, because all of that is being numbed out. And in lesson 3, there's a reverse move that I teach you so that you can begin to feel your own feelings, begin to act in a new way so that you can feel your feelings and you can break this negative feedback loop that you're stuck in and get moving with a positive feedback loop. Now, to remind you, a negative feedback loop is the proverbial downward spiral. The positive feedback loop is a beautiful upward spiral, and there is no such thing as a horizontal spiral. You're either moving forward or you're moving backward. There's no standing still in this thing. There's no standing still in life. So I want you to create the upward spiral. This is the move. This is the main move. Okay, lesson 4 is watching your thoughts to quit porn. And it's pretty wild because a lot of times you don't realize that old, crusty, dusty programming that you're acting on. And I've been exploring my programming during my healing journey. Like I said, it's physical, but I'm taking the opportunity to clean the shelves in terms of the emotional baggage that I have. And I'm always cleaning out the closet, I guess, in Eminem's words, right? So the point is that you watch your thoughts, it creates more self awareness, which allows you to act in a new way. And we're going to address that. Okay, number 5 is stressed out. If you love 21 Pilots like I do, they have a song about being stressed out. Stress is the number one factor that's going to push you into the screen as it's trying to pull you back with its dopamine hits. So, figuring out where your stress lies and learning how to deal with it in a new way is critical, crucial. And we explore that, and I give you an exercise to be able to handle that better into the future. Then, moving on to the next lesson is your porn cycle. I think I numbered these wrongs, by the way. Oh, I know what it is I missed one, but we'll double back to it. Your porn cycle, figuring it out. And I've taught about the porn cycle a lot on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, but there's a definite cycle, and the way that you act behaviorally and the way that you feel in terms of urges and moods, that has to do with the dopamine cycle. And I call it the triple D's, but actually it's more of a quadruple D, is that there's a dopamine drip when you have the thought that you're going to watch porn. So even at the first inkling that you're going to watch, your brain's already dripping dopamine. And we know from the science that your brain will follow that drip to the dopamine deluge, the flood. Your brain wants that flood to feel good, to numb out, and to not feel those feelings. And it will follow once the drip starts. It's very difficult to move away from it once you're dripping. That's the 3-second rule. You got 3 seconds to pivot and run in the opposite direction. Because once the deluge starts flowing and you get set up and you're moving towards watching porn, your brain's getting the flood. The 4th D that I've included is a dopamine drowning, and that comes after the flood. That's when you feel so good and you feel nothing actually. And I see it on people's Muse brain training graphs in their mind biofeedback, their mind meditation graphs. If your line's all the way down at the bottom and you're 100% calm and you've watched porn, it's artificial induction of calm. It's fake. It's not real. That's some fake news right there. So I see it in people's brains all the time, which is why I've started to call it the dopamine drowning, because literally your brain's drowned out in dopamine. And when you drown your brain in dopamine, that's what's damaging your brain. That's what's desensitizing the reward center and making it so that you couldn't possibly be aroused by your partner because your partner could never give you that level of dopamine. So you no longer find your partner attractive, or you have erectile dysfunction because you can't get aroused without a three-ring circus. So that's what I'm talking about, the dopamine drowning, which then leads to the dopamine deficit. And the dopamine deficit, you go back into your life and it stinks. You're anxious, there's no happiness there, there's stress there, you're irritable. It's because you don't have enough dopamine there anymore because of this cycle. You actually have an increase in cortisol, the stress hormone. Your brain's off the chain and your life feels terrible because of this cycle. And I want you to break this cycle. You need to know about it, and then I'm going to give you a strategy to break it. Okay, so then next is balancing the scales of justice. If you add stress on any given day, you have to add stress relief. And life's static. It's not static. It's dynamic. It's forever changing. So figuring that out is critical. What we're talking about here are the 4 pillars of emotional intelligence. So we're talking about self-awareness is number 1, figuring out all these things about yourself, which it can be so difficult to figure out what you have going on when you're using this distorted thought system that your brain is creating because of porn consumption. So when you watch porn, it really messes with the way that you see the world, you see yourself, you perceive sex, you perceive mood regulation. It throws everything into a massive distortion. So self-awareness can be very challenging. Self-awareness can be very low for people who are caught in a porn cycle. So you might need help figuring out some things about yourself because a lot of times you can't see it in the mirror. You know how that goes. Uh, Actually, I've been watching The Crown in my sickness, and I talk about it in the program a little about how I've been watching it to help myself heal. But in there, the actor Matt Smith, who plays Prince Philip, he's talking about how your partners can see in you the things that you can't see in yourself. And that was really interesting because it's true, you can't see your own junk. Other people see your junk and they might call you out on it and you might not love that. And that's why having a coach can be really crucial to helping you to move through this journey. So think about it, get into coaching if it feels good. Zach Carter is the primary porn addiction recovery coach on my team. So there's information below in the podcast if you're interested. If you don't want to work with him, sorry, I got to move my feet here and on the ground in my Jimmy rigged podcast studio. If you don't want to work with him, please think about getting a coach that feels good to you. Having a good relationship is the most important thing. Yeah, I'm so psyched about potentially moving back into my home if we can get it demoldified enough and get it clean enough for me. It's clean enough for everybody else right now, but when your immune system becomes trash from mold, it has to be hyper clean. So we're planning on moving back in, and I have already thought, because I have to get rid of all of the stuff up in my office, so you won't be seeing my signature picture that's been behind me for so long. I'll have to get some new pictures and furniture, but I was already thinking I'm going to get myself the sweetest podcast studio up there. So something to look forward to, something to look forward to listening to also, because I'll have some great sound quality once I get that set up. So that's pretty fun. So if stress comes in, like I was talking about, life's dynamic, it's not static. If stress comes in, being able to offset that stress, but you need to be able to see it first. Then what I was talking about actually is watching yourself and watching other people. So what we were talking about is self-awareness is the first pillar. Self-regulation, being able to change your own behavior after you see it, is number 2. Number 3 is social awareness, being able to vibe what other people have going on. And number 4, relationship management, being able to show up in your relationships in a really healthy way with healthy interaction style and healthy communication, which can be really distorted from the porn addicted standpoint, because a lot of times you are in a narcissistic bubble. Porn creates a narcissistic bubble because when you're trapped in the dopamine cycle of insatiable pleasure seeking, all your brain wants is more pleasure. So it starts seeing everything in the world as objects for potential pleasure. People are objects for your potential pleasure. Opportunities, nights out, they're just times for pleasure. And I would challenge you in this podcast, get your journal out and look at how much you are trying to get towards pleasure. In this journey, remember, it's not what you're trying to get away from, it's what you're moving towards. And if you're moving towards constant pleasure seeking, you're not moving towards your purpose in your work, in your relationships, and in your hobbies. Purpose is the thing that breaks that quadruple D cycle. When you're in a life that you love so much, there's no need to escape into pleasure all the time. So watch for that. And those are the pillars. So the 4 pillars of emotional intelligence are like a table. They're like this little table. You can only see 3 legs on the video of the table behind me, but tables have 4 legs. And those emotional pillars are the 4 legs on a table. And it's self-awareness, leg number 1, the ability to see your own stuff and see what you have going on. Number 2, self-regulation, the ability to make new changes, take new action steps, have new thoughts, feel your feelings, approach and engage and move towards a new life. Self-regulation. Number 3 is social awareness. Look at what your peeps have going on and be able to respond in a healthy way. Where if your brain's all looking for dopamine, that'll be difficult. Relationship management is responding in the healthy way. And I was talking to Curtis, the neuro coach who helps me in being able to provide neurofeedback for people, which is another service on my website. I was talking to Curtis today, and when we got done talking about this table, I sent him a Bitmoji. If you have the Bitmoji app, and if you know me, I love a good Bitmoji. I sent him the Bitmoji of me flipping the table, right? I said, let's flip some emotional tables today. Let's go rock it out. So I want you to flip your table and be aware that the legs are there. And if you lose a leg, you lose emotional maturity. So those are the 4 pieces you have to have. Okay, the next lesson is taping your lips shut, learning to respond in a healthy way. Now, if you're a person who reacts, I really want you to think about those reactions. Another takeaway from today's podcast is today, over the next 24 hours, see how many times you snap at somebody, see how many times you make a little comment, a little zinger just to annoy somebody, see how many times you feel defensive and you throw something out there. See how many times you react and tape your lips shut and do more listening and less snapping and less reacting, because that's how you learn to respond. And in that lesson, I give you the strategy to be able to do that. Then in the next lesson, I want you to be able to view the screen. I give you a hypnotherapy strategy to view the screen of your young life, to look at your programming from the past so you can update that crusty, dusty programming so that now you can move into the future in a new way. What all my programs are about is rewiring your brain. So what we're going to do is unwire that old crusty, dusty programming. We're going to do a software update. We're going to rewire your brain and the way you move through the world, and we're going to hardwire that in by feeling your goals. That's the lesson that I skipped earlier, is that all your goals should have a feeling to it. So anchoring into your goals for the future and how they're going to make you feel and how you're going to feel in the future is different from how you felt in the past. Amazing. A beautiful life is waiting for you. So I hope you get into this program. So we're going to look at the screen of your young life to be able to do that. Then we're going to meet that hijacker. I've told you before lots of times on my YouTube channel that your brain has been hijacked by porn. In this video, in this program, I will show you who that hijacker is, how you can identify him, and what you can do to help him out. Then we're going to take you out of survival mode. If you're escaping into porn frequently, it's because you're just surviving. You might not even know it. You might feel like you're thriving. You're stuck in surviving, and I want to help you thrive. So we're going to move you out of survival, take the mask off, and move you into thrival. Yes, a word I made up. Another great non-word that we are going to make a word together. Thrival, my friend. And get you into thrival so that you can thrive for the rest of your life. And you can even thrive in a time of difficulty or chaos. So it's been absolute chaos for me with this mold thing. I've had to move out of my home. I had to buy all new furniture because I couldn't bring any with me. I had to essentially stop working. I have to create a new life to help myself heal and come back online. My everything has changed, but I'm still thriving. I'm staying in that mode of thriving so that I can be in peace, and I'm going to come out of this thing better than ever. I refuse to let it make me survive. I'm going to make it make me thrive. And you can do that too. And the way you do that is by shifting your outlook. And I'm going to teach you how to do that to get the frame of reference where everything's here to help you level up and to live the life that you want to. Okay, so those are the pieces of the No Porn November program. I really hope you join me, because when you join No Porn November Challenge, then you can move into December with a 30-day streak. Then you move into the new year, new brain. It's the perfect opportunity to just kick some booty and create the life that you want into the new year. I know I'm looking forward to it because 2022's handed me my booty on a platter, and I cannot wait for a fresh start. I'm going to heal myself as much as possible, and fresh start 2023, here I come. I want you to come with me. So let's do this thing. If you don't want to join the program, which I really encourage you to join, $33, it's affordable and it's there for you. If you don't want to, at least subscribe to the playlist on YouTube where you get shorts. You get a 60-second short every other day. And in the program, you get lessons of different sizes, but nice comprehensive lessons with exercises to move you through. Okay. So glad to be back, and stay tuned for the next episode. In the next episode, I am going to talk about easy button lifestyle and how junk food and porn are related and what you can do to put them both to bed. Okay, I hope to see you in the next episode. And until then, control your brain or it'll control you.